Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Women read a man's class. And when I'm talking about class, social class. See, one thing men have to understand, when a woman's checking out a guy, first of all, they are visual. Yes, looks matter to them, but they look at the whole picture. So yes, they looking at your physical looks, your body type, facial features, all of that, depending on what they like. And let me emphasize that, because you get some guys out there think women just want one universal thing. No, that's some racial chauvinism right there. No, please. Every single woman likes something different. In some cases, it might be a consensus, but every single woman like it. So whatever they like, okay? But that's just the looks. Understand something. When women are looking at a man, yes, they have the visual part, but they also look for other things, particularly visually, not just his body type or his looks or his facial features, but also they looking at the clothes he's wearing and everything. And the reason why, they are trying to ascertain his social class. See, even though people throw out the word hypergamy a lot, which technically means moving from one class to the other, women look for men in their range. Women look for men who match their particular social class. So they try to get an idea of what the man's social class is by, things like his haircut, the clothes he's wearing. Indeed, if they talk with him, his speech intonations and everything. And they looking at the big picture. I mean, that's the bottom line. I've talked about that before. They are looking at the big picture. And that depends on what they might want from the guy too. And let me be clear, it's not strictly money. Money plays a part. For example, you get some, shout out BGS when he talks about the octane models, like some 92 climber, like a woman who is come from a poor background, but she's worked her way up into a high background, and she wants a professional. She done went through some type of professional school, maybe law school, medical school, she got a master's. So she's looking for a man that fits into that social class. She's a climber. She's leaving Pookie and Ray Ray behind. She might have dealt with them in the past, but she wants somebody who looks a certain way. Remember, those visuals are more than just the physicality. But it's like, okay, how's he dressed? What kind of clothes he's wearing? Does he have visible tats and stuff? Does he have a haircut that looks out at a certain class? Because women, they look at the whole thing. Because understand something with women. And this is a big difference with men. See, men, when in general, and I spoke about this because I said men need to get out of this. A lot of men just look at a woman just how fine she is. They ain't thinking about the rest of her. Now, as a man becomes mature, more sophisticated, indeed, if he actually has some real money, well, he's going to look at other things. But in general, most men look just at that woman's physicality. She got the big breasts, or the fat ass, or whatever you like. Whatever. It could be legs, could be slim with a very, very, very pretty face. Most men don't get past that, which is why I always say men get in trouble. That's why I always advise a man to look at it greater. Women, they do. They do. Like, don't think they ain't paying attention to every single thing. They try and get an idea. And yes, money plays a part. Money plays a part. And not so much, like, it plays a part for women trying to milk a man. And I'm going to get into that in a second, because that's very important. But just lifestyle, social class. If she's solid working class, she good with that and everything. She's looking for a guy who's on that same level, who might live the same type of lifestyle she likes. So she's looking at his clothes, look at what he does. She might not want that professional guy who's going to be like working 70 hours a week. She might want just that regular 9-to-5 guy who can hang around the house with her and, maybe give cookouts and stuff like that. In fact, I remember a woman I dealt with. Man, she was very beautiful woman, but that's all she wanted. That's the reason why we didn't deal with each other for a long time. We were cool, but not a long time, for one simple reason. Rom was on his path to global domination. So I was going up. She didn't want to go on that level. And that was cool. She was more working class. BGS would call her 87 octane. Real cool, down to earth and everything. But she wanted somebody on her level, ended up marrying somebody on her level. You know? Indeed, when women say on their level, that's what they're looking at. They ain't just looking at the physicality. Yeah, they like a fine dude and stuff, but that fine dude, if that woman is a lawyer or something, well, guess what she gonna want? Now, you have some exceptions, but I'm gonna be real with you. Every time I've seen an exception, I also seen a divorce. They tend to want that. So if that woman, you know what, she just she a cashier at a grocery store. Well, she wants, you know, some guy who's kind of in that same range. You know, he don't necessarily have to be a cashier, maybe a manager or something like that. But she can understand that. Or, you know, the woman, she graduated law school, she's an attorney. Oh, guess what she's going to want? She's going to want a guy on that level. Indeed, when you have women, quite frankly, of all races, talking about, oh, there's a shortage of good men, that's what they're thinking about. It's not even just the men themselves. I mean, if you really look at it, just at an honest look, men, period, it really isn't that great a shortage. But then when they start with their list, when they start getting into the levels, when they start getting into the social aspects, and then it could be an issue. Indeed, that's why if you really look at women who complain about a shortage of men, it's really the educated women, the formally educated, because now you have a situation, and this is through all races, where you have more women going for higher education than men. You know, and indeed a lot of men who might, you know, they might make good money, they don't have that formal education, they're saying, well, those women don't want to deal with them. That's just the nature of women. Because that social aspect has to deal with their emotional thing. They want to feel safe. Like on a basic level, and I talked about this in Nice Guys and Players, a woman wants to look up to a man in psychological respect. So whatever she doing, she really wants that man to have greater than her. She wants to. Yeah, you get some women, they get some money. They'll deal with some guy, you know, hot young boy, or, you know, he's sexy and stuff to get some D. But that's just the sex thing. When you deal with a social thing, you know, they're talking about marriage, relationship, and everything else. They prefer a man on a higher level. So if she making 100,000, and, you know, the money might not be as important, she prefers a man who's making 125,000. And that's just the nature of it. So when they looking at a man, they try to ascertain it. Okay, like you walking down the street, and shout out Cousin Tito, he talked about this in the seduction scriptures. When they looking at a man, they looking at all of the first thing they looking at, okay, physicality, can he get it? All right, he might not be all that, but then they looking at his, you know, clothing, what type of car he got out of. Now that could be especially a case if a woman wants to finesse a man. But then they also, if they ain't really looking to finesse him, then they looking, okay, all right. Okay, where does he work? What's his social status? Where does he work? And does he look decent enough to possibly have a baby with? Because remember, I talked about this as a little aside, because, you know, people getting into the looks. Men just need to look decent for women, okay? Men need to look decent. I've talked about that before. But right now I'm talking about the social class. And they try to. They always trying to figure it out. Now, let me be real with it. They're not 100%. They're not 100%. I don't care who it is. I don't care who the woman is. Because it could be a guy who's making a lot of money at a higher class, but, you know, she might catch him at a wrong time. He's dressed down. He, you know, the haircut ain't on point. You know, he just letting himself go for, you know, that moment. He could be working on something. They just don't know. So you're never going to be 100%. Anybody reading somebody, there's always going to be something. He might not, you know, he might be one of those like rich people who dress down, you know? So it's not going to be perfect, but the bottom line is they always are going to look at a man on that level. They're always going to look at it. So they're going to look at his clothes. They're going to say, okay, how's he dressed? They're going to look at like anything. Okay, does he have a timepiece on? You know, what kind of jewelry? Does he got too many tats? Like let me use the 92 climber, the professional type. They see you got like tats on your neck and everything, or even on your face. They might look at you and say, oh yeah, he cute, but at best, it might be one of those 12 to midnight to 5 a.m. type of deals. But really, they're gonna be like, when they think on a longer relationship, presentable and everything, nah. You bet she might hook up with that guy who don't reach it, depending on how sexy he is. But any other time they walking down the street, she gonna be like, act like you don't know me. But they always, because that class thing is big. People gotta realize it. And I want to shout out Master Teacher BGS for really introducing that octane thing. And plenty of other people have rightfully looked at it, because the class thing is major. Class thing is major. You really pay attention. In fact, a book I always talk about, and this is specifically in the Black community, but it's really in other communities as well. Money Issues in Black Male-Female Relationships by George Sabiro. One of the things he said any discussion about relationships that doesn't take class into account is a joke. And I agree with him, because that class thing is a major thing. So especially when women looking, like I said, when guys, a lot of us, she got a fat ass, we're willing to work with her, most guys. It's usually the higher, more upper tier guys who's going to be paying attention to her social class. But women, they don't care what it is. That's why you will get some women who are on that more ratchet side, and they could see a guy, and you know what he said is he's ticking all the boxes that guys think a man needs. That I said a man needs. They might look at him and say he handsome. They might, he hitting the gym, he dresses well and all of that. But if they on some ratchet ass shit, they might look at him like, nah, he corny. That's how deep it is. They won't give him a play. They either gonna look at him like he corny or he a mark. It is what it is. So anyway, that's all I got for today, y'all. Get back with y'all later. Peace and blessings.